Welcome to the LA Story Podcast with Stevie Wilson.
Hey people, this is Stevie for the LA Story, and I'm here to tell you that we've got Amber Madison, a sexual health expert, to help share some information for women, young women, teenagers, whoever. It's spring break time, and a lot of people are going on vacation, and while you want to go out and have a good time and meet new guys, you also want to be safe and have a really fun spring break or spring, vacation, but you also want to be smart about what you're doing. So Amber is going to share with us all kinds of tips and information that you need to have in the back of your brain before you go off. So how are you doing, Amber?
Doing well today, Stevie. Thanks.
Good. So I understand, that the spring break can get so crazy, and you see things on TV where women, anybody, they're just getting so drunk that they don't know what's going on, and things happen, and they have no clue that they could get pregnant, get STDs, just get sick from drinking too much.
Yep. I mean, spring break is supposed to be fun, and it is about letting loose and having a good time. But you also need to be responsible, because it's not fun to put yourselves, in harm's way. So one really important thing to remember, and you just touched on this, but keep tabs on how much you're drinking, especially if you're spending all day out in the hot sun, on a beach. You're getting dehydrated. You need to be drinking some water also. So, drink water all day. And then if you're out at clubs or at bars at night, really check in with yourself and say, you know what, do I really need that extra drink? Do I really need that extra shot? Maybe I should switch to water, at least for a drink right now. So really keep tabs on how much you're drinking. Second thing you should always do is stay with your friends. So you probably go on spring break with a big group of friends. Go out together in a group, because you're in a strange place. You're completely surrounded by strangers. So you really want to make sure you know where your friends are at all times. And make sure that they know where you are. So if you decide to go off with someone, send a text message. Let your friends know where you're going. If you have a camera phone, maybe take a picture of the person you're going off with and send that picture to your friends so they know who you're going off with. And a third thing to keep in mind, spring break for many people can mean hooking up, and that's just the reality of it. Now, I just read a statistic recently that 3 out of 5 girls have a friend who's had unprotected sex on spring break. So if you are sexually active and you are going on spring break, have a plan A, plan ahead, all right? Bring condoms. Hopefully you are on some type of regular contraception. If your contraceptive method fails or if you end up having unprotected sex, know your options. And you do have the option of emergency contraception. Now, Plan B One Step is something that anybody 17 or older can buy over the counter at most pharmacies. And it works for up to 72 hours, but the sooner you take it, the more effective it is at preventing an unplanned pregnancy.
Well, it's really important to know, particularly because of Plan B, that you need to, if you're going out of the country, Mexico or Hawaii or the Caribbean or something like that, you should kind of maybe have that on you and take it with you.
Yeah, absolutely. The way I would look at that statistic, if 3 out of 5 girls know someone who's had unprotected sex on spring break, there's a pretty big chance, over 50%, that when you go on spring break with your girlfriends, one of them might be having unprotected sex. So knowing that, maybe when you're in your hometown, get Plan B beforehand, pack it in your suitcase, bring it with you just in case, and even if you don't need it, maybe one of your friends will. Because the reality is, even if you're in this country, maybe you don't have a car, you don't know where a pharmacy is. And if you're in another country, maybe you have no idea how to even ask for where a pharmacy is. So always be prepared going into spring break so that no matter what happens, you're ready for it.
Right, and I would suggest that people start, if they're going to do that, then just pack a whole bunch of condoms with you, because quite frankly, that's going to be the biggest protection against STDs, and then still be on the pill if that's your choice of how you want to deal with contraception.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people go on spring break with this mentality of, hey, anything that happens on spring break stays on spring break. You know what? No, if you get gonorrhea on spring break, you still have gonorrhea when you come back home.
Exactly.
So
or if you get pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. It's still your body, and every choice that you make on spring break may stay with you for the rest of your life even. So it's really, important to stay in touch with yourself and be like, all right, am I making good decisions here?
It's a smart thing to do. And people, whether you are of the age group that's going off on spring break or you know somebody, it's your daughter, it's your sister, it's your best friend's kids, whatever. The point is to sit down and have a talk with them and make sure that they're playing smart. And I think that, using your cell phone, taking a picture of who you're going off with,
yep.
That's a great idea. And emailing it to, texting somebody with it,
yep.
Such a good idea.
Exactly. I think a lot of parents, they get nervous about talking to their kids about sex, about drinking, about anything. But, that's part of your job as a parent is to talk to your kids about these difficult issues. And, a lot of parents are like, oh, my kids don't want to talk about it. Well, no, your kids also don't want to eat their peas and wash their hands, but you make them do those things too because that's what's best for them, So maybe your kids are going to act like they don't want to talk to you. And maybe they don't, but talk to them anyway. And know that you matter, and your opinion matters, your advice matters, and even if they're rolling their eyes like, oh, Mom, come on, they want to hear from you. They want to hear your advice, and even if they're acting like they're not, everything you say is still really important.
Well, at least they know that there is somebody who knows what's going on and how to handle it, and they can turn to someone, which is really scary because when you start to realize that, yes, your kids don't really want to talk to their parents about sex. They don't even want to think their parents have sex.
Right, no, it's the last thing you want as kids.
But it's like by the same token, your parents don't want to, you don't want to tell your parents that you also failed a class.
Right.
But you still have to tell them because they're going to pay for it.
Right.
They're going to know. They're going to find out. So the point is just stand up to the bar and just sit down and have the talk with your parents and at least know that they're there and they're aware so that in case something happens, you have somebody to turn to.
Exactly. And, I think that's the biggest message you send to your kids when you do talk with them about these difficult issues is you're saying, look, I'm not afraid to talk to you about these things. And you know what? No matter what happens, and if it's embarrassing or if you think it's something I wouldn't approve of, you can still come talk to me. And sending that message loud and clear is just so important.
It is. It is. And you're absolutely right. People, Amber, where can somebody who wants to get more information from you about this topic, where can they find you online?
Yep. You can find me at www.ambermadisononline.com. And if you want more information about emergency contraception, you can check out getarealplan.com.
Okay. And she also has a book called Hooking Up, A Girl's All-Out Guide to Sex and Sexuality, which is aimed at high school and college-age women. And it's really a great book to have.
Oh, thank you.
It's not exactly, maybe you might not think that your daughter or, might appreciate that as a gift, but it'd be the smartest encyclopedia of information that you could give somebody.
I cannot agree with you more.
So thank you so much for talking to us today, Amber. It's been great.
Yep, thank you.
And people, you'll find all the links to Amber's site and the book on the blog. So this is Stevie for the LA Story saying thanks to Amber for her time, and have a great day, people. Bye.
Thanks for joining Stevie Wilson on LA Story. Feel free to check out other podcasts and videos. Bookmark it now. www.la-story.com.